boxing. A sport that has given us so much throughout its long history. A sport we all cherish and love, but also a sport that started to lose its credibility. I can make a 2-hour video on why that is, but one of the many factors is just bad matchmaking. Undefeated boxers are fighting journeymen until they are well in their primes, which leaves boxing fans unsatisfied. Basically, one day you could be working your 9 to 5, and the next you're fighting for the heavyweight championship of the world. In recent times, things have not been as bad as they were. We witnessed a fair share of great fights, but it's still nowhere near the level we wish it to be. For example, the UFC. They are doing business the right way. The best are actually fighting the best. That's why the organization gained so much popularity over the past few years. It's entertaining. If you want to be a champion, you actually have to be a world-class fighter, not just some random guy you picked up from the street. The belt actually means something. And it's rare that a fighter gets a title shot without actually working for it. But sometimes, some are more privileged than others. On December 16th, we are going to witness one of the best cards of this year, and more importantly, an exciting fight between the current welterweight champion Leon Edwards and one of the best fighters that never became the undisputed champion, Colby Covington. A true battle of the styles. On one side, you have one of the most technical strikers in the division's history, a true stand-up perfectionist. On the other, a wrestler with incredible pace. Also very technical, but in all different ways. A lot of fans have been desiring this fight ever since Leon became the champ, but also a lot of fans are not happy with the decision to give Colby another shot at the title. If you ask me, I'm excited about the fight. I like both fighters and their styles, and I truly think it will be a fight worthy of the welterweight championship. On the other hand, does Colby really deserve it? Objectively speaking, no, he doesn't. His last fight was against Masvidal. He beat his former best friend quite easily, which was expected. But it's not a win deserving of a title shot. Masvidal was out of his prime, and truth be told, he was never the elite of the fighting world. Sure, he became a superstar because of his run in 2019, but that doesn't make him the cream of the crop of mixed martial arts. And not to mention his style, which is a perfect style for a guy like Colby to beat. Combine that with the 2 title shot losses against Usman and a win against a washed-up Tyron Woodley, Colby Covington shouldn't be fighting for the welterweight championship against Leon Edwards. But he is, and let me tell you why. Remember when I told you that there are a few fighters that are more privileged than others? There's a simple reason for that. Some fighters are just more marketable. Before Colby started doing his crazy press conferences and insulting Brazilians on their home soil, he was a humble wrestler who was on a winning streak, and that almost got him cut from the organization. Now Colby does what he needs to do to sell himself as a fighter. He puts on an act that makes him the #1 enemy in the UFC. It's basically Colby against everyone. At least that was the case a few years ago. Now people are more aware of the situation he was in, and they realize that Colby is actually not that bad. But there's still a large group of people who dislike him, which also means they will tune in for all of his fights just for a chance of seeing him lose. So he's at the same time loved, but also hated by a large group of people. That means more views. More views equal more money for the organization. And at the end of the day, money is the main motivator for Dana White and his crew. It's also a fight that's on the radar for quite some time. The fans just want to see it happen. That's why Colby is fighting on the next Saturday's main event, because it just makes sense business-wise. However, there should be more to that. Is he really fighting for the title just because he's popular? Are other contenders basically fighting for nothing if there will always be a guy who is more marketable than them? Well, I want to say no, because Colby Covington is a great fighter. Not only that, but he is very exciting to watch. Non-stop pressure, both on the feet and on the ground. Making his opponents tired and weak is just fun to watch. Both championship fights against Usman proved exactly that. And he was more than competitive on both occasions. Personally, one of my favorite fighters to watch. And when you realize he's probably a few fights away from retiring, you just want to root for the guy. He's been a fighter for all of his life, from his wrestling days as a kid to now being a UFC veteran. His fighting style represents him perfectly. He's stubborn, persistent, and he just doesn't want to give up. He wants gold, and failing while being so close to it makes me think he's more hungry and motivated than ever. Makes me think that he'll go through hell just to get close to that shiny belt. He'll make sure that the fans are more than satisfied following Saturday night, no matter the outcome. So, subjectively speaking, he does deserve another go at the title. He deserves another shot at his dream, and I sure hope he reaches it.